Hey, we're on to our next exciting stage of our landrace botanical garden. We are actually going to transplant some of our little sprouts to these 5-gallon buckets today, and going to show you how that works. So anyway, and just real quick, we have this beautiful little sprout from Zambia, and we are starting with our smallest pots because we do some of our sprouts in 5.5-inch pots, and to tell you the truth, when we run out of 5.5-inch pots, I then go to our 4-inch little pots, and I'll show you what's going on here. Come on, baby. Yeah. So as you can see, the roots, it's not root bound by any means, but it is hitting plastic. So it's not real tight, so you have to be a little careful when you flip them out that you don't break up your root. And if the plant's too small and you flip it over and the whole thing falls apart, then yeah, it's not ready. But that held together, which means the whole root network has filled most of this soil. So it's time to move on. So what we've got here is 5-gallon pots. Now, I am going to explain this again. Don't want to break the hippy-dippy fantasy that all of this soil is like home-blended regenerative soil. Now, full disclosure, our garden where all these plants will end up, they're all in the ground with regenerative hugelkultur type soil, and a lot of that soil is 10, 12 years old. So we are big believers in regenerative soil, but for this stage and for this scale, we've just found it is a lot easier and more efficient and actually safer, because if we used our regenerative soil in this beginning stage, if the nutrients were slightly out of balance or maybe a little too hot, we could actually damage our sprouts. So Ocean Forest does a nice job of creating a consistent, clean. Everything always tests out clean with our lab results too. So we've had good success. So for scalability, efficiency, and reliability, just the last few years we have used Ocean Forest for this stage. I don't work for them at all. I'm not promoting them, just letting you guys know how we do things. And if you're interested in growing yourself, this has been a pretty tried and true tested product for this stage at least. So that said, going to get that out of the way. Going to show you how we now do the transplant. So it's kind of cool. And as you can see here, we've already laid out all the sprouts that appeared to be ready to jump out of their little pots, and they're ready for transplant. So we've already placed them in the pots they're going to go to. So now what I'm going to do, get your prayer hands. I'm going to dive in. It's kind of cool, infusing a little prayer action into the pot. So just parted the soil there. Now you got to make sure, never lose your tags. Be obsessive about not losing track of your tags. Now we're going to just very gently set this in place, and then boop, there we go. Zambia, you are now in this stage. So what's going to happen now is this plant will then probably till, so right now it's end of April, what is it, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there, I don't even know, but this 24th? 3rd, okay, 23rd. So until for another like 4 to 6 weeks at least, this plant will stay in this pot, and it'll probably get, you know, this tall, maybe even this tall. So now we're just going to be waiting for this plant to tell us whether it's female or male. And as soon as it tells us it's female, little white hairs start shooting out. That is the free ticket for this plant to then go out to our permanent garden, where it will go in the ground in our regenerative soil, where it will have unlimited root space and tons of biodiversity going on in that soil, and then it will be able to get huge. I'm guessing this plant will probably be about 10 feet tall come September. So anyway, this but this is the next stage. So now we've got them in 5-gallon pot. I'll do one more here. Spray your hands, take the dive, spread it. Oh, and by the way, when we put the soil in, we do then water the soil a little bit just to get it nice and saturated. Then you just kind of do your Vulcan hand grip, and then just plop it out, and then just really gently set it into place. It's okay if it collapses a little bit, and the plant, will go through a few days of sort of getting recalibrated. Some people call it shock. I wouldn't really say it's shock, but it's just sort of getting readjusted to its environment. And make sure your tag's in there. Boom, and that's it. And as far as little things, just to make sure, just keep the root line, like where the stem hits the soil, keep that like the same as it was on the pot, because that's naturally where it wanted to be. That's where the seed set up shop in relation to the soil height. So don't bury your stems, don't leave your stem super exposed. Just try and nail it right at that exact same stem line. And then you're good, and now just have 100 more to go. And but it can go very quickly. And then we'll just show you what else is going on over here. We do have a lot of the plants that are getting nice and big. This is a mung tung from Laos. So this is a pretty good sized sprout, but because this is in the 5.5-gallon pot, that just means it has a lot more space in here. So we're probably going to give that like 5 to 7 more days to really fill out this space. So actually, the sprouts that we're planting were ones that germinated later, but they ended up going in these smaller little 4-inch pots. So they're just filling out that pot a lot faster, so they're needing to be transplanted quicker. So, and the sooner you get them in that 5-gallon, they're just really going to take off. People have asked if we're feeding them or anything. Tell you the truth, the Fox Farm Ocean Forest has enough nutrient in them to sustain them for at least 3 or 4 more weeks. If do see signs of nutrient deficiency, you may add feed them just a little bit of fish emulsion. I also like this Sensational Solutions micronized dry amendment that you can water in, that's really fast acting. But yeah, that's it. People have asked about light supplement. Yeah, 0 light supplement, 0 heat mats. We're just riding the natural sunlight. So these plants will be completely in sync, at least with the California sun cycle, and we won't be shocking them or traumatizing them or getting them confused because we haven't added any light whatsoever. So they're just riding the natural spring light cycle. So I think that might be about all I think. If people want to see just some sprouts, what they look like, here's a really exciting one, 1970s Pakistani. I absolutely love this plant. Some of them turn out, let me see if any of them are purple stem yet. Not yet, but some of them actually do go totally black and purple. Like the stem, the leaves, everything. Here's some other ones that are really taking off. Here's like lemon Thai. Yeah, this really shooting. So I'm guessing this is going to be like over 10 feet tall. It's already showing signs of just really vigorous, long, lanky. Here's a Thai tiger tail. So this is Thai landrace. But look at the stretch on this thing, just from that node to this node. So this will be a long, lanky one. Yeah, a bunch of other ones. You'll see them as they develop and they start getting more personality and unique characteristics as they mature more. So anyway, we'll keep you posted, but that is what's going on today. Peace. Okay, we just finished transplanting. So you can see here we've got, so this is 101 sprouts. So, and by the way, the next phase, we're going to let these go for like another week or so. And then the next phase is we'll put a stick of bamboo on there because the plants will start getting long and leaning and may fall over. So at that point, we'll put a little tiny bamboo in there just to hold them up. So that's kind of the next phase. I wanted to show you something else that's pretty cool. Just this Vietnam black right here. We did have, every once in a while you'll see this, a triplet. So yeah, instead of, as you can see here on this, usual cannabis does 2 leaves, 2 leaves, 2 leaves symmetrically, but this one actually has a triplet pair going. Kind of cool. So we'll see how that pans out. I've seen them before. You know, some people think that it's going to be like mass like yield because it's got an extra node. Usually not the case, but it's just kind of a cool plant. And sometimes it grows out of it, and sometimes it remains triplet through the whole plant. So we'll see how it goes. And just wanted to show you once they're planted in. So as you can see, most of these, you can still see the original soil line from the little pot. So you can see there, so we're not burying the plant at all. We're just setting it into a new base of soil. But that seed already told us where the plant wants to be in relation to the soil. So then, and by the way, if you're using a dram wand, the plastic heads that come with these kind of suck. And if you drop it, it cracks and then it sprays water everywhere. So I do have this metal head that doesn't crack. So a little hot tip. But now we're just going to come along, just water them in, help them get established. Also, because you got to remember that little, the plant is still living in that little tiny 4-inch pot. So that's where its roots are. So if you're like, oh, I don't need to water it because the soil's wet out here, you got to remember the roots are still stuck in that little 4-inch pot that it was just in. So you want to, once you plant them all, you want to make sure and water those in, and that will help that 4-inch pot square basically infuse into the new soil. But yeah, you really want to make sure you're still watering the plant where the plant lives. So don't just assume you got wet soil on the outside. So like here's another one. And again, I'm saying this for beginning gardeners. Most of you already know this. But yeah, so this is all wet, but this is still the original dry pot. So once you transplant, make sure and hit them. So, and the other thing that's going to happen here, now it's time to water our 4-inch pots that we still haven't moved out. So I take this off so I'm not spraying the plants really hard. And now I can really precision target that water without knocking all my little sprouts over. So I have to go back and prop them up. So anyway, there you go. Hope that's helpful. And probably in another 2 days, we're going to do another round of transplanting, probably another 100 plants. They should be a little more developed and ready to jump out of their little pots into the bigger pots. So anyway, hope that's helpful. See ya.